going on, everybody? Tuga here, back again with some more NHL 16 and my Boston Bruins GM mode. And in this episode, we finish up Season 3. Now, we're in a good spot. We are in first place in the Atlantic Division, even if it's just because we've played more games than every other team. But we're in a real spot to do some damage here, and really now the decision is, do we go out and get somebody else that could potentially help us offensively? Now again, I'm all about transparency here. This is my third time recording this episode. Once, because my audio program decided to take a 29-minute raw file and condense it into 4 minutes for absolutely no reason. And the second, because I've been sick the past couple of days, and I couldn't go 5 seconds without just having to stop and just suck in as much air as I possibly could. But because this is my third time doing this, I get to at least explain to you guys what works and what hasn't worked, or at least in those first 2 experiences. One effort, I acquired Patrick Marleau. He didn't work. The second effort, I traded Kokochev, and it didn't work. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't want to fuck with the chemistry too much, I want this team to stay the same. Those big moves you want to make really during the offseason, or if you're losing, because otherwise your chemistry gets all out of whack. So what I've done, Michael Bodker has been scratched, Tyler Randall's been called up, because we need to get Kokochev and Griffith off the fourth line. Yes, they didn't produce on the top 2 lines, but if they're on the fourth line, they're just not going to be happy to begin with. We need these 2 guys to produce. They're both 84 overall when they're at proper morale. They're both down to 81s now. We need to just solve that issue. They're both UFAs after the end of this season, so I'm not sure what the hell I'm going to do with these 2, but they really need to perform. And in terms of getting somebody who could fit in on this team and be an extra goal scorer, we're struggling for the cap room, even if the guy's a UFA, and we'd have to get rid of somebody on this roster. And to me, it's not worth doing that due to the morale repercussions. I don't need Bergeron dropping to an 87 overall because I decided to trade Matt Nieto, who is not doing too well. So despite the need for a true sniper and a true goal scorer, we're going to bite the bullet. We're going to sim the rest of this season, and we're just going to see what happens. Again, I know for a fact, and I know that you guys know, we need to make moves. We need to make a big move and get somebody else who can really help out our offense. But I'm not willing to have more players get in a fucking pissy... It'd be so much easier if this was last year, there was no morale system, and you could just trade for whoever you wanted to trade for. But with this new morale system, again, I'd love to probably trade Michael Bodker. He has really good chemistry with David Pastrnak. David Pastrnak's making really good progress and is having a really good season with 38 points thus far. At an 84 overall, I don't need him regressing because we got rid of someone that, yes, we don't need him, but I'm not willing to take the hit on Pastrnak. So guys like Michael Bodker will be traded in the postseason, probably during the draft. Again, we're probably going to have to look at trading Tuukka Rask, and if we're going to want to keep Malcolm Subban's an upcoming free agent anyway, so this is probably Rask's last season with us to begin with, and then at that point, we can get somebody that we need to go and really make a strong push next year. Again, I'd like to make that push this year, but it's not looking like it's going to be possible. So here we go. Let's get back into the sim and see what this team can do. I'm giving myself a little bit of wiggle room, only simming beyond the Florida game, so I can change my mind if I need to. Philadelphia offers us a 3rd round pick for Travis Raymond. We won't take that. Raymond actually had his morale change us. We get a nice 3-1 win against Dallas. Hopefully we can get another nice win against Ottawa. Here we lose in a shootout, but at the very least it's only a shootout loss. Carolina offering Justin Advocator for a 2nd round pick and a prospect, Chris Getson, or I can't remember that guy's first name to save my life. Regardless, we are absolutely going to decline that. In a game against Florida, it is another loss. So I've put some thought into it before simming through this Buffalo game. And as much as I want to win the Stanley Cup, even if we add a true sniper, this team's not ready. Despite how strong the defensive core is, despite how strong our goaltending is, this team isn't ready. And I don't think there is any player we could add that would make this team ready. The bottom line is we need to wait for these prospects. We need to wait for these prospects to develop, and it's going to be guys like Jake DeBrusk and Blake Spears now that lead us to the Stanley Cup. It's not going to be the Matt Nietos. It's not going to be the Josh Baileys. No matter who we put on that first line as a sniper, this team just right now isn't built for the cup, and that's because that's the direction that we took when I went with my original idea to kind of have a proper depth system. This team just isn't ready, guys. It's going to be ready when Jake DeBrusk, Blake Spears, Ho-Sang, really everybody you see here, when these prospects, with the exception of the bottom four, because they're not exactly prospects, when these guys are ready to go, not exactly Lié either because he's 24, but when you get my point, when these guys are ready to go, that's when we're going to win the cup. Look at our defensive core. When Lozon and Carlo are ready to go, that is when we're going to win a Stanley Cup. Will Tuukka Rask win a cup with us? Probably not. It'll probably be Malcolm Subban. So I might live to regret this. I'm not going to make a move. We're going to sim beyond the trade deadline. We'll give Rask these next 2 games, see what he can do. Hopefully he gets us a win. We do get the win in Buffalo. We're beyond the trade deadline. We get another win in Nashville. So 2 consecutive shutouts for Tuukka Rask. And whether or not I live to regret that, guys, who's to say? But we're beyond the trade deadline. Let's round out this week and hope Rask can continue this hot stretch of games. And of course, now we lose 2-0 to Tampa, and we lose 4-1 to Detroit. And regardless, like I said, kind of regardless, I don't think we are ready. No matter what lineups I've had in this game throughout this GM mode, people just fucking lose. Like, no matter what team we've had, these guys just randomly go on losing streaks, and it's goddamn annoying. But let's go with Malcolm Subban. I imagine that player morale option is probably Michael Bodker. Still not being too happy about being scratched. We'll go look at it for the hell of it. And actually it's Seth Griffith, who even on the 3rd line is still regressing and not doing anything. I'm going to give him the top answer because it's very much true. He's going to start seeing the consequences if he doesn't perform. We're going to give him, actually, you know what? Hold on, let me take a look really quick at Seth Griffith. Is Alex Kokochev? Koko's still at the same spot. These 2 guys aren't going to be on this team much longer either. You can just tell. Second line forward guys, yes, I've played them on the 1st line, the 2nd line, the 3rd line, the 4th line. They're just not getting it done. And for whatever reason, it's just flat out their morale or their player personality type. Even if I move them up to the 2nd round where they're both, or to the 2nd line where they're both supposed to be, it's not going to change things. But you know what? Fuck it. For the hell of it, let's do it. Zarnik and Nieto are both designated as 3rd line guys anyway. I'm going to give them one more chance to shut me up and prove me wrong. But they need to get it done right now. They're playing with Radim Verbata, who's been battling as our leading scorer all season. He has a 40-point year going on right now. So we'll see if those 2 guys can turn it on, because flat out, they absolutely have to. They have to. And I might have just screwed up there. I can't remember if I was meaning to start Rask or Subban. But regardless, we'll just move on. I'm pretty sure I meant to keep Subban in there, but that's okay. We'll just sim ahead with Rask. We get a nice shootout win against the Avalanche. A 39-19-11 record so far this season. Let's sim this Tampa game as well. We just really need to start stringing together some wins, and we can't. Yeah, let's just sim through the rest of the week. We got a big game against Montreal here, hockey night in Canada, and we get a nice 4-1 win. And let's go ahead and, you know what, I think we'll give Rask the this entire week. We'll keep it live though, since we don't have too many games to sim on this episode. A loss against Detroit, a win against Ottawa, a loss against Winnipeg. This team has no fucking consistency right now whatsoever. We'll keep Rask in until the Buffalo game. We're at 41 wins on the season. We lose to Montreal. I'm still extremely worried. We lose to Tampa, and I can't imagine what we're looking like playoff-wise. We're in 2nd place right now in the Atlantic. It could be worse. It certainly should be better, though. Now, as you can see, once again, Seth Griffith continues to regress, so we are absolutely scratching him. Griffith is out. Michael Bodker is coming in. Koko's getting dropped back down to the 3rd line. He can play in between Bailey and Nieto, but hopefully that line right there, that trio, can get it done. But I am over Alex Kokochev and Seth Griffith. Whether or not we resign them just to trade them and next season's free agency period, I'm not sure, but that'll probably be our option. But here we go now. We need some wins. We'll give Subban these next 2 games against divisional rivals. We need wins. We get crushed 6-4 and then lose in a shootout to Toronto. No matter what I do with this team, they just cannot win when it matters the most, and we are absolutely in danger of falling into wildcard territory. We're in danger of just losing out on the playoffs in general. Alex Kovalchev has fallen to an 80 overall. Is there anybody I can call up? Do we even have the cap space so that I can call somebody up? We should. It says $3 million in cap space. Let's see if there's somebody we can call up. Jake DeBrusk, Taylor Lier are both 80 overalls. I'm hitting the left trigger. Please sort this out, EA, in your shitty menu system. So we have Spears, DeBrusk, and Lier, who are all potentially ready to step into that role. Let me actually go back to the lines really quick. It would be a third line spot. We do have Michael Chaput, so it could very well be a winger. Particularly, it should probably be a right winger that we call up. So let me take a look. I'm pretty sure at least one of them happened to be a right wing. If not, and if it's a left wing or just a right-handed shot, we'll call them up. Yeah, so okay, so let's see. Do we have a right-handed shot? Blake Spears is right-handed. DeBrusk is not. Lier is not. We're calling up Blake Spears if it lets me, and it does. So Blake Spears, who we signed as a free agent, has made the team. He is getting called up. He is getting put in. Fuck Kovalchev. Fuck Griffith. I am tired of these guys not getting the job done. Absolutely sick of it. And they're going. Like I said, whether or not we resign them just to trade them, I'm not sure yet. But Blake Spears is here. He is going to be on that third line. We're not going to play him at center, even though he is a center. We will probably play Michael Chaput there. Take a look at Josh Bailey. He has 27 points. Matt Nieto is struggling, so we'll drop Matt Nieto down. We will send Bailey over, and then Blake Spears on the right. So those are the lines we're going with. Michael Bodker's back in. Bailey, Chaput, Blake Spears, and Kovalchev and Griffith are the odd men out. They're not getting the job done, so fuck them. I'm tired of them. Let's see if we can end up making the playoffs. We do have a quick AHL roster spot to fill. It doesn't really matter who it is, although we do need to get some of our normal prospects back into the lineup. We'll just put Matt Mastella in there. Doesn't matter about the AHL, so we have most of our prospects playing, and now we got 4 games left. Let's take a quick look. How many games do we have? David Pastrnak leading the team in points. So we have 4 games left. We're at 94 points. It's very much possible we could miss out on the playoffs, guys. Montreal's right there. We need to win these games. We absolutely need to win these games. So fingers crossed as we move into the month of April, and we'll sim this Ottawa game and just see what happens. We have to win. These are must-win games if we want to make the playoffs. Game against Ottawa, it's a 2-1 win. That's a huge result for us. An absolutely huge result. Seth Griffith can be pissed all he wants. I really don't care. We'll go to player morale. Really quick, I should have addressed the Blake Spears issues. He's just happy that he is here, and he already has really good chemistry with Travis Hamonic, so that's interesting. Yeah, as far as this team goes, we could hold an AHL team meeting. We won't, because that's suicide. But let's see now if we can get a win against the New York Rangers. If we do, we might very well clinch a playoff spot. We do. It's a 4-3 win. Let's take a look. Are we in the playoffs? Not yet. This division is so goddamn close, it's not even funny. Pasta up to 51 points. The Toronto Maple Leafs 102 points on the year, but we are currently tied with the Sabres, 98 points apiece with 80 games played. But just look at this division. Tampa, Montreal, Detroit, we're all right there. Florida is the only weak team. The 2 wild card spots are definitely coming from this division. We have to win. We have to win this game. Detroit's right there. If we can get a win here, we should clinch a playoff spot. Come on, boys. This is the biggest game of the season thus far, and we lose in a shootout, but at the very least we get a point, and we might be in trouble, but we do clinch a playoff spot. So at the very least, boys, we're in the playoffs. Thank Christ we are in the playoffs, but now it's just a matter of wild card or not. Detroit and Tampa, if they win both their games, will pass us. We have to get a win here to make sure we stay in the top 3. If we get a win, we could eclipse Buffalo if they lose their last game. So we could finish in a wild card spot, we could finish in second place, but Toronto has already clinched the division. So let's go ahead and sim this last game. We won't do it live. We'll just hope for the best result. We get a 4-3 win. That should clinch second place in the Atlantic Division. And again, I was worried. I was absolutely worried when we didn't acquire someone. I was extremely worried when we dropped Kovalchev and Griffith. But in the end, it paid off. We are going to the playoffs. Let's take a look at who we're going to get matched up against in the first round, and it is the Buffalo Sabres, Jack Eichel, and the Buffalo Sabres. So as you can see, we got a little bit lucky. Buffalo currently in third place. Just behind them, we beat them on the tiebreaker. We'll really quickly take a look at their players and ours, but of course their big name is going to be Jack Eichel, who is just an absolute monster this year. This game's menu system is so there you see 72 points, 95 overall for Jack Eichel at 21 years old. Evander Kane 62 points and Tyler Ennis 53 points. That is obviously their top line. That is a monster top line. Gergensen's up there as well at an 88 overall. They have a pretty strong team. They do have a pretty strong team. Jake McCabe's turned into a reliable defender, and they have a couple veterans in there as well, Drew Miller included. And in net, it's Robin Lehner and Frederik Andersen. Frederik Andersen signing or getting traded to Buffalo. He is an 88 overall. So not a very easy matchup for us in terms of goaltending. For us, we have Tuukka Rask and Malcolm Subban. Who should we start? I got a feeling most people are going to say Rask. He has a slightly better goals against average, and Subban literally just a slightly better save percentage. But who should we start? Again, this is probably going to be Rask's last season, unless we somehow pull off a cap management miracle and are able to hold on to both. Defense, we're not going to be changing anything. We're pretty much good to go. The only question is, what should we do with the lines? What should we do there, though? Should we put Krug back with Hedman for the playoffs? Right wings, as you can see, David Pastrnak, 52 points. That's a strong season for him at 21 years old. He's only getting better, so it was a nice progression year for him. Radim Vrbata, 47 points at 36 years old. Not too bad as well. Seth Griffith, 31 points in 76 games. Fuck him, unless you guys really push for having him and Coco back in the lineup. They're staying scratched. Tyler Randall, 5 points in 21 games. We could call up somebody else instead of him to put in on that fourth line. Again, I'll leave that up to you, and I will show our AHL players so you guys can get a look at who his potential replacements might be. Of course, it could be Griffith or Koklachev themselves. Left wings, Marchand only 33 points, Bodker with 31, Bailey 29, and Nieto 22. So again, not the most impressive performances for any of those players. And then at center, Bergeron 48, Zarnik 46, Koklachev finished with 43 points. That's not bad, but again, if he's not playing on the second line, he's going to whine and complain. Chaput 27 points, Boyle with 17, and then Blake Spears 1 point in 4 games. I'll give you a quick look as well at the AHL guys so you can see who we could potentially call up if we choose not to put in Koklachev or Seth Griffith. Joshua Hosang 41 points, Lier at 38. And just go ahead and pause now just to get a better look at these guys. But these are the lines we have been rolling with, and it is up to you guys. Let me know down below who are the 12 men we should go with for the playoffs. I'm not entirely sure what to do. A lot of questions, a lot of stats to look at, but get back to me. Let me know what lines we should roll with in the first round. We make the playoffs 2 years in a row, despite some questionable moves and non-moves, and let's just hope we can get past the first round this time out. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.